Thank you for listening to the Kyle and Tim podcast, where we have authentic conversations that help cultivate a better understanding of ourselves, our guests, and the world we live in. This podcast is about our guests, getting to know them, their backgrounds, experiences, thoughts, and ideas. We really appreciate you listening. Before we introduce our next guest, we'd like to introduce a few of our sponsors that help make this podcast possible.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Mountain Mule Transportation, located here in Bozeman, Montana. Mountain Mule is a private SUV and truck service, offering chauffeur services in all of southwest Montana. Whether it's your next skiing, hunting, or fishing trip, early morning or late night trips to and from Bozeman Airport, as well as weddings and private parties. No matter the occasion, Mountain Mule will get you there safely and on time. To learn more, visit mountain-mule.com and book today.
Okay. Well, what do you want to know?
Where are you from?
I'm from Coeur, Idaho. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great place to grow up.
And how long have you been here?
Since 2009.
Did you go to school here?
MSU, I went a semester, and I was like, no, this isn't for me.
So you just stopped school?
No, I went to a college in Yakima, Washington, for veterinary technology.
Oh, nice.
I know. Everything I do now today has nothing to do with school, but I feel like that's kind of the case for everybody.
Yeah, I don't have a degree, but I grew up farming, and I use
and you don't do
zero of those skills now.
Yeah. No, I think I'd probably actually still be doing it. The veterinarian I worked for decided to summer in Red Lodge instead of Bozeman. So I was like, well, I can't move to Red Lodge, so here I am.
So what's your degree?
My degree is in veterinary technology, and then I have multiple specialties in equine anesthesia. So I just would run anesthesia on horses, and I would tech for him too, in surgery tech and that sort of thing. And we would travel, just kind of follow the horses wherever they went, which was south in the winter and back here in the summer. And then he would go and work on really incredible equine athletes in Alaska.
What does the technology look like? Does that that term is in your degree? So what's the
veterinary technology? I don't know. I don't actually know. It's because you're a technician, like a surgery technician or something. There's no. I think I don't know. It should just be like veterinary nursing, because that's really what you're, just a vet nurse.
Vet tech.
I don't know.
Yeah,
vet tech, but the tech stands for technology. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know why it's technology.
So you did that. How long did you do that for?
I have done that. I mean, even in high school, I was working at vet clinics, and I did that professionally until 2013, probably, I want to say. Yeah.
And you've got a horse background, right?
Yes.
Where did that start?
Yes. Since I was a kid, we've always had horses. And I've just always loved riding horses, being around horses. And
did you guys have a ranch or anything like that?
Do we have one now?
Yeah.
No, we don't currently. We did. Yeah. My grandparents owned a ranch in Willow Creek, and they had horses, and we'd lease the ground back to a local cattle rancher. And then in Idaho, we just had horses. We didn't have a ranch or a farm or anything. We had a ton of acreage up in the mountains. In fact, the place where I grew up, my dad and my grandpa made the road to it. And,
cool.
Yeah, I mean, we put in everything for that property, so it was not accessible prior.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a little brother. His name's Zach.
Okay, where's he at?
He lives in Washington. He's a genius. He works currently for ForeFlight. He's a pilot as well, but he's just like the smartest person in the entire world.
What does he do for ForeFlight?
That's a great question. I don't understand it. But he's doing, I believe, like engineering and a lot of like internal tech for them. Yeah.
What's the age gap? Is he quite a bit younger than you?
Nope, 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Did he do much with horses growing up or no?
By force, yeah. Like he'd ride and stuff just because that's what we did. But no, he'd bring his dirt bike to the horse shows and the barrel races, and he made friends with my friends' little brothers. And yeah, no, he did not do that.
So what was it like growing up where you grew up?
It was amazing. We had, I mean, it's one of those things when you grow up, you really appreciate how you grew up. Like when we were in it in high school and college, or I mean, in middle school, it's like, we live so far away and our friends don't want to drive and like catching the bus in the dark because you had to catch it an hour early. We just lived really far out of town. But also, well, you know, that generation, we didn't have the internet. No one did, right? We didn't have like half the things we have. Netflix didn't exist, things like that. So we didn't really miss out. We were outside kids. I mean, we were outside all the time, and yeah, it was very isolating, but it was I I would live that way again now if I could.
Are you saying you did appreciate it then?
I
or you-
did. Oh
Okay.
yeah, no, I really liked. I mean, now I did. When I was living it, it was kind of like, why don't we live in town where we can
Yeah.
walk to our friends or ride our bike somewhere, or go to the gas station for candy. Can't do that.
I used to
But
always think that because I grew up on a dairy farm.
yeah,
And
you're
I'd
like
be,
far away.
why don't we just have a normal house in town like my
Yeah.
friends? Why do we always have to work
Yeah,
7 days a week?
I know. Well, and we always did work. I mean, we'd be out doing something that had to do with maintaining everything and dealing with everything. But yeah, no, it was good. I'm grateful that I had a sibling. That's for sure.
How early did you get into barrel racing?
Oh gosh. Well, so when I was little, like you start with Omoxie, which is kind of like various horseback sport. So, there's different events that you do, and then it transitioned into just barrel racing, and then you can go on to rodeo and things like that. Oh gosh, how old was I? I was doing lead line. So like the first age group that you do, your parent leads you through. So 3
Just through the barrels?
through all the events. Our
Okay.
poor parents.
Hmm.
Like they just run, and then when I got old enough, I would do it for other little kids, and I'm like, wow, this sucks. Like you got to run through the sand, and but no, that's how I started. So 3 or 4 years old. Yep.
I think your parents have horse backgrounds as well.
Yes. My dad had horses growing up. My mom didn't really have horses growing up until later in life, but yeah. Yep. She always did 4-H and that sort of thing. Yeah.
What about high school? Like, how big was the town where you grew up?
It was small. My graduating high school class was, oh gosh, probably like 60 people. So not big at all. Nothing like Bozeman or anything.
What's the name of the town?
So I graduated high school from a little town in Washington. I spent my last couple years of high school in Washington, but Coeur d'Alene, it would have been a bigger high school graduating class. It's a bigger town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Coeur d'Alene's where you were predominantly until you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've spent some time there.
It's awesome,
It's a
especially if you
cool
like to
spot.
golf. There's a great golf course and so much to do. So many lakes. Yeah, it's a cool spot. I'm glad you've been. Where are you? Are you from here?
I grew up on the East Coast.
Okay.
But my buddy Kyle, that's usually here, he's got a place. His parents have a place in Coeur d'Alene.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
They've got a couple boats, so I've gone there a few times.
So fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. If I had if I had a vacation home on a lake somewhere, that's definitely where I'd go.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you references of where anything is, but I know you like drive around a big lake.
Yep.
They bought a log home there and they got it pre-COVID. And they just got
perfect.
like a crazy.
Is it on Coeur d'Alene or Hayden?
I think it's Coeur d'Alene.
Okay. Yeah. And that's a funny shaped lake, Coeur d'Alene. I mean, it's just really long and skinny.
If you like look across the interstate's kind of on the other side, because you like.
Okay.
I
so
know you get off
right there.
You make a left off the interstate and then you loop around. It's like 20 minutes.
Okay. That's not too bad. Yeah. Our family cabin's on Powderhorn Bay. So it's a little more south. It's about, I don't know, probably half hour, 45 minutes from the interstate.
You guys have a boat or anything there or
no? Yeah. So we have family. It's a family cabin and we have family toys.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a big family. My dad's brother has a lot of kids. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you guys will go there in the summertime and stuff.
Yep. It's awesome. We love it there. Yeah.
Okay. So you finished high school in Washington and then did you come directly to Montana?
Well, so my grandparents owned a ranch in Willow Creek and I would summer here. And then I did my veterinary internships at Montana Equine and Copper Spring Ranch, which is not existent anymore, but they had their own vet clinic. And my husband's family ran that ranch. And that's how I met Colter. I was doing an internship at the vet clinic. he was in between cop jobs, breaking colts, and would bring horses down to the vet clinic for various things. And that's how we met. Yeah.
How old were you when you guys met?
20.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 20. I was young. Colter's older than me. So.
And how old are you now?
36.
Okay. Yeah, how old is he? Is he 40?
41.
Okay.
Yep.
And where was it? So you guys met here?
Yes. Well, yes, at a ranch. Yep.
You said that ranch isn't there anymore?
It's still there. It's now called the Stock Ranch. Yeah,
Okay.
it's sold. Yep.
Where,
and it's a little different operation. It's just I hate directions. It would be west of Four Corners. Like past the golf course a little.
Okay,
It'd
yep.
be there on your left.
Oh, okay.
It's a huge ranch.
Yeah, that was just a couple of years ago that sold, right?
Yeah. I don't think it was very long ago.
Is there there's a giant indoor barn there and stuff?
Yes, a couple of them actually. Yeah. Yep. It's beautiful. It's a really cool facility.
Yeah, I've driven people in there for stuff before.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I've like vaguely heard the backstory of that.
Yep.
Of that ranch.
Yeah.
It looks like quite the place.
Yes, it's really incredible. Colter's parents, that's a ranching background for sure. Colter's dad grew up cowboying, and he just had a lot of really great ideas for making that a working ranch. And then the owners, it was just fueled by their love of horses, really. But Gary Colter's dad, really ran the show, made it what it is. So, and then they decided to get out of it.
Is it much of a working ranch now, or is it just
I don't think so. No, but the Stocks that bought it are very successful cattlemen I believe they're from Texas. And their son is the one who's up here, I think, the most and runs it.
It's kind of where I grew up, which is upstate New York.
Okay.
It was nothing but dairy farms,
Yeah.
at least when I was a kid and
Uh-huh.
when I was younger. And now I think in the 80s, there was like 400 and something dairy farms in our county.
Yeah.
And there's 10 now that are
Gosh,
shipping milk.
Weird. Why?
Like the only ones that have stayed have just consolidated, bought out all the other farms and sort of taken over because they're mass scale, large farms
It's
now.
like breweries here.
Yeah. But you couldn't afford to do it on that small of a scale.
Yeah.
Just because of the economy of it.
Yeah.
So one farm will be milking thousands of cows and doing tens of thousands of acres. And everyone had their family farm with 200 acres. That's what ours was.
Okay.
But it's really weird because wealthy people will buy out these old farms and they just kind of have them for a hobby, but they're not really working.
But they have cows there that they're milking and that?
Not usually. They'll lease all the land to the farmers and then the barns are vacant. They might have some horses.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just didn't know if that's what happens here a lot these days. Cause
I think that there's a lot of land that is owned privately, but it's not used. And it's always, respectfully, like if it's respectfully used, grazing for something, that's always a better use of it. And so I think I don't think it happens as much as it should. Putting like having someone lease their ground back to someone for use, right? So That's good that that's happening.
I don't know how it works here, but the way it is in New York is you get an agriculture tax exemption if you're using it for farm or you have cattle or horses on it.
Got it.
So most of those people are incentivized to do it.
Sure.
Because they'll get a big tax savings. I don't know if that changes the tax
I think
bracket.
I'd run Montana into the ground if we did that. I don't know if we do it though, but it seems like that would be a huge loss of money because almost all of our land is ag land. I mean, we have more cows than people.
Oh, you mean if there was a break for...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that seems like a state thing, not a federal thing. So otherwise we probably, but...
Yeah, it's definitely a state thing in New York.
I don't know if we do it. That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I just wonder because there's some paddocks that are adjacent to where I live right now. And I've left a voicemail with the owners because they said, oh, that'd be cool to have some animals in there. But I haven't heard back. I'm like, I wonder if there's any incentive for them to have animals there.
Yeah.
If it changes their taxes.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, if you own the ground and you're running a business off of it, then there's tax incentive there. But I don't know. I don't know about a break for having animals on it.
You guys have horses on your property?
No, we
don't.
You
don't? Mm-mm. Okay. Where do you keep your horses?
We do not currently have horses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is... What do I hear? Oh, yeah, I sold my last horse a couple of years ago. And yeah, it's in the cards to get horses and that sort of thing. Again, we just got to wait until our lives kind of settle down a little bit.
Do you still ride much now or no?
No,
Okay.
I haven't rode in a while. Well, actually, that's not true. I did ride last summer, but I don't. Yeah, I don't. Not as much as I should.
It's funny. My girlfriend has a horse at her place right now. It's not hers. It's a rental property, but it's a horse property.
Okay.
And she, like, all last summer, she was just exercising this guy's horses that hunts with him.
Great.
I think it's a great hack because she doesn't own the horses, but she has
but you get to
full
enjoy
access.
them. Yeah. No, that's awesome. It's a great gig if you've got that kind of time. I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, he's like, take the horses, take the saddles, take whatever you need, go for it. We took him out camping a few times,
and that's great for him because that's the hardest part is keeping horses legged up, for whatever they're about to go do.
Yeah, because he just hunts with them all fall.
Yeah,
and he's packing them and everything, so the more exercise they're getting all summer, the better.
For sure. Yeah, nice.
But she keeps saying, "Oh, maybe I want to get one." I'm like, "Why are you going to ruin a good thing?" Just
because then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
instead of just getting
Except
them
anything
fit.
Financially because you're spending all your money on your horse.
They're very expensive. My husband used to always. That's why he doesn't cowboy for a living. I mean, if he could make a living at it, he would. But he says it's an excellent way to make a terrible living, and he's not wrong. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to cut it in that world and make money doing it. Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah, and that's like dairy farming too. You're doing it because it's something most of the time you were born into it.
Yeah.
There's no incentive. There's no reason why you'd say that's an industry I'd like to get in unless you just love cows.
Yeah, most people, that's not their dream. Like they're not, I'm going to grow up to be a dairy farmer. Like you're born into it and then it's just with you.
It's funny you say that because my mother grew up in New York City and she wanted to be a farmer.
Oh, really? Life. And she did
her
that?
whole life.
That's
yeah,
so
she
funny.
met my father. They got married. She worked for him.
And your dad wasn't into ag at all?
No, he was raised on the farm.
Oh, okay. So
she met him.
So she had an in kind of.
Yeah. But she after college, she started working on dairy farms.
Interesting. Yeah, I've worked on a few dairy farms myself and no thanks.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I learned a lot, but I was like, no, this isn't for me.
Yeah. Growing up though in Coeur d'Alene area, is there anything formative or special you remember about it?
Oh, special? Yeah, I mean, there's some very negative actually history for that area. But growing up there, I don't think.
Is that like Mormon stuff?
No, so it's like the neo-Nazi capital.
What?
Yeah, I know.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, it's a big thing. You should Google it. Hayden Lake was a big area for all of that. Ruby Ridge incident.
I had no idea.
Heard of that? Early 90s.
That's when I was born.
Okay. I mean,
but I still could have heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't born in the 90s, but I mean, there's a lot of, not so pretty history, but there's a lot of really cool stuff. So Lake Pend Oreille is close by. It's not in Coeur d'Alene, but it's an extremely deep lake and submarines. There's submarines in it and they train with the subs there. The Navy uses that for training area and stuff. That's really cool. There's amazing skiing. We are super close to Canada. I don't want to tell everybody that it's awesome because
fair enough. Yeah. Well, you're in Bozeman now, so what's that?
I know, true. Yeah. But Coeur d'Alene, I think Coeur d'Alene's still smaller than Bozeman, but it's definitely not as chaotic. We don't have a big college either, no university right there.
Yeah.
There's a college there, but
there's some sort of property there that's similar to Yellowstone Club, isn't there?
I mean, there's the resort. There's a private community, more like Triple Tree. I don't know that we have like a Yellowstone.
Yeah, I thought the same owners that own Yellowstone Club own something there.
Well, they probably do.
Yeah, I know. I know my sister worked there, and then she went to Coeur d'Alene for summer because it was kind of.
You don't remember the name of there's like the Gazer Ranch, but I don't know that. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if. Yeah, I don't really know anything about the Yellowstone Club either. Was that
like how predominant was that in the 90s? That like Nazi influence?
It was extremely predominant. I mean, I don't know that you want to get into that on this podcast, but I mean, I grew up with that. I mean, that was so
crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we knew. I still am friends with kids that.
Because I'd imagine if you're hang around with the wrong people in high school, that becomes.
I don't even know about wrong people. Like these kids were just kids, right? And it was a major movement, and it was very much, it was accepted that like it was kind of. I mean, it's kind of it's a little bit gross to talk about, but I mean that was how that community was. It wasn't weird to anybody else. It did fortunately get shut down, but there's still a lot of lingerings of it. They've kind of moved to St. Mary's. But yeah, we went to school with those kids and family friends with a lot of people that were part of that.
Oh, that's crazy. I had no idea.
Pretty wild. Yeah. The Ruby Ridge thing was, that was kind of one of those FBI fuck ups, I guess, or screw ups. I don't think we can. Sorry.
You have to you're fine.
But yeah, that's a good documentary to watch.
What's it called?
Ruby Ridge. I believe it's on Netflix. But that's right there. That's the same area.
I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, and just Google it. Just Google like neo-Nazi history in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Hayden, Idaho. And you'll see like the buildings and all of the things. And there used to be, up until probably, early high school for me, there was a Nazi parade downtown Coeur d'Alene. Wow. Yeah, there was SWAT team everywhere, but it was a very World War II vibe parade where people were dressed as Hitler. Like it's crazy. That was we loved it as kids because we got all the candy, right? But we had no idea what was going on. Yeah.
So what were some really positive memories like that aside? Not that.
So I'm like, gosh, when I think of like the history there, I don't know that it's positive memories. I have tons. Growing up on a lake is awesome. It's amazing. I loved growing up in the mountains. Gosh, you get true 4 seasons there. It's not winter all the time like it is here.
It's a little more mild there, isn't it, or no?
Yeah, they're just true. It's very Pacific Northwest. It's very much like Washington. Well, I guess it would be Western Washington, but yeah. My family was there. You're not far from the big city if you want to go to Spokane or something like that. Yeah, there's good food. What else? We just kind of grew up mountain, like hillbillies. We didn't really do like a lot in town, so I don't.
Did you ski much when you were growing up?
Oh yeah. My parents used to bring us to the ski hill lookout pass. They'd leave us all day, drop us off, come back and get us as kids. Yeah, we were little kids. I have pictures like, oh my gosh, you guys just left us there, and that's okay. It was great. We loved it.
Do you ski here much or no?
I don't ski here as much as I want to ski here, but I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone twice this year.
I've not gone downhill skiing this year at all. I've gone cross country, but not downhill at all. Yeah, it's in the cards. Coulter and I are trying to get up there, but every weekend somehow gets hijacked. So
he skis too.
He is actually a snowboarder.
I actually snowboard too.
Yeah, so. He snowboards, but he's not like the annoying snowboarder when you're a skier where you're like, oh, I gotta wait for all the things, or they can't go anywhere you can go, and he crushes it. Yeah, I think he wants to get back into skiing. He grew up skiing, and then snowboarding kind of got popular, and his cousins are big time skiers. So he's like, well, yeah, I'm going to snowboard, but I got to try to keep up with these people. So
my girlfriend, she snowboards too, but she has to step in. So
okay.
And her sister does. And I went with her parents ski, her and her sister snowboard and me. And I'm the only one with my snowboard that I have to strap in, and I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, I'm getting those next year.
Oh, totally. Unless they like ice up or something. They've got like that stomp pad gets funny, but yeah, and it's mostly like the chairlift. Like they got to sit on the right side, and then your board's in the way, and there's just you're just always waiting for the snowboarders. I feel like, but Colter does pretty good.
Yeah, her parents were older too, so they weren't like gung ho, ready to rip. So it was like the pace was fine, but I was annoyed with how long it was taking. Yeah. But I've never put a set of skis on in my life.
You should try it.
I just feel like I'd blow my knees apart.
You think?
My knees are very...
Have you water skied before?
No. But my knees from jiu-jitsu are like... I tore my MCL a few years ago, and they're kind of... they say they get stronger when you injure them and they grow back, but the thought of catching
you could always try and do the easy ones.
The thought of catching a ski just terrifies me, just ripping my knee apart.
Yeah.
I feel safe in the snowboard because my legs are my feet are locked in.
And
They're
they're
not
the
gonna.
same. Yeah, they're not going to go separate.
Yeah, that's what
Unless
terrifies
you
me.
like, yeah. Gosh, I don't know. My biggest frustration for me was snowboarding. I've done it a few times, but it's the getting up over and over.
Yeah. Yeah, it can suck. Like I remember learning sucked, and I learned when I was like a teenager. Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't. It sucked for a while. And it was all ice on the East Coast, so just falling on your ass on ice is not fun.
No, ever. I fell last week for the first time in a long time in a parking lot, and it like wrecked me.
That sucks. That's even worse than
It
fall.
wrecked me. Like, and I'm so dramatic. Like when I fall, I just lay there for a minute, like, and I'm in a parking lot, and I'm like, that's gonna be such a bad bruise. Yeah. And then we were out on our walk. We walk a couple miles every night, and there's like random patches of ice on the path we walk on. There's this kid, he runs every single night, and he's in high school, and he's just light as a feather running by. Well, he slipped and kind of like windmilled, but caught himself and kept on running like no big deal. And Colter and I both looked at each other like, yeah, that doesn't happen for us anymore.
You guys walk every night?
Every night we
That's
go.
nice.
Yeah, we have 2 little dogs and take them to get some exercise, and we try to. It seems to help with just the detox of the days,
Yeah.
2 stressful jobs. And
It's also nice after you eat a meal to just take a walk instead of evaporate into
totally
anywhere you're sitting.
Exactly. Yeah. And we get home at 4 or 5, and so several hours. In the winter, it's really critical. Otherwise, you're just inside all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, me and my girlfriend said we do that every night, and we don't. Like, but we definitely make sure we do if we haven't gone to the gym or something that day.
Sure.
That's the days we'll make sure we do. But
yeah, and I usually go to the gym every day, but that walk is just critical, and we have time to like catch up on like what happened today, and it's awesome. The dogs get wore out a little bit.
Do you guys have any phone rules? Like, do you take your phones with you or not?
I have major phone rules. Colter is not on board with the phone rules.
What are they?
So my phone shuts down. Like I have screen time settings and all.
And you
things.
abide by them?
Oh yeah, because it's disgusting. It's already really gracious. And when I hit that, I'm like, oh, I've been on Instagram that many hours today. Now I definitely set boundaries on there, and I respect them. I also don't like fall asleep to my phone screen, like playing on my phone or anything like that. I don't even bring my phone half the time on walks. This is why I just love Apple. Whenever I say I'm on a walk or any sort of like exercise, my phone's on D&D. There's like my 5 people or your favorites list that can get through. So I don't even bring my phone with me. They can still get through on my watch, but yeah, unless I'm expecting a call or something's going on that I need to be available for.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I struggle with. That's why I don't have any social media on my phone.
You struggle with screen time?
Yeah. I just know if I have it on there, I don't trust myself.
I think it's more of a guy thing.
Probably.
I think you guys like, I don't know. It's just like something to do. Like you just need to, like idle time is not. That
reminds me, it was one of my guys called me. I want to make sure there wasn't an emergency because I completely ignored it.
Well, and you guys have to, like someone's driving for somebody.
Yeah, we're fine. All good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is a guy thing.
Yeah.
I don't look at my screen time because I'd probably hate it. But even like my computer, I'm on it too much, and I'm working on it. But
when it's work related, it's a little harder. I mean, my computer, that's a harder boundary because if I open that just to like look up something really quick and I see I have emails, then I'm like working, and then that turned into an hour, and so I don't have as good of boundaries. But that's more of like a work-life balance thing. But your phone's just so readily available all the time. I don't know. I get sick of seeing people like always on their their heads wrapped around their phones all the time.
I think I'm pretty good about that, especially when I'm like with people or anything. Totally just putting them. Yeah. But then when I put it on do not disturb or airplane mode, I'll forget about it for like 5 hours.
Oh yeah.
And I'll look at it like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I've got 2 or 3 guys on the road, it's, they need a point of contact.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely been on D&D and come back to like an ungodly amount of text messages. Fortunately, the team I have is pretty self-sufficient. So They figure it out.
So is your company phone number your personal cell phone?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you have like a calling service or anything you use?
Nope. I just have dual SIM on my iPhone. And in fact, I have 2 different carriers as well. My personal cell phone provider is different than my business one, but I have 2 phones that ring on the same, 2 lines that ring on the same phone. And so like if a phone call's coming in, there's a little B by it and I know it's business. So I know how to answer. And you can have 2 different voicemail greetings. Also, I'm kind of a toxic millennial, I guess, in that regard, because my personal voicemail says, like, if you're not my grandma or my veterinarian, do not leave me a voicemail. Like, I hate voicemails.
Oh, that's funny.
I hate calling people back. I loathe talking on the phone. I'm such a texter, way more of a texter. I hate it. And my grandma is finally a texter, pretty much. She's very tech savvy. But now she's finally texting, and that's great.
That's interesting. I've tried a million different things, but right now my personal number is my business number.
Yeah, that sucks.
But so it's just like, do you have Verizon or no?
I use Verizon for my business. I use Patriot Mobile for my personal.
Okay. And can your employees answer stuff to that number too, or no?
No, we've looked at getting Verizon One Talk. We've thought about that.
I would just say don't
do it.
Because I tried it right now and it's through an app.
Yep.
And it's terrible. I've tried it. Tried it and tried a few phone conversations on it. And I'll talk, and there'll be like a 2-second delay.
Got it.
And then it's just
and I think some of my other vendors are using it because that's happening. I'm like, sorry, I feel like I'm talking over the top of you, and they're like, well, there's a delay, because we have like a group chat with the 3 of us. But yeah, I mean, we're always looking for ways to improve communication, like, and making it easier on clients because, they text me for the most part for everything, and then I'm just dispersing it, and then my employees are following up with that. And, I'm finally at the point where I'm telling clients like, hey, this kind of thing needs scheduled with Amber or whatever, but you feel bad, they're paying you for a service and you just want to help them, but that's not feasible anyway.
Yeah. That if you hate talking on the phone, you'd hate One Talk. You'd hate talking on the phone even more.
I don't like it. And a lot of people that call me, it could have totally been a text message.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I had to pick up the phone. Like, I don't know. I'm just really, really bad at that. I do not like talking on the phone.
These people I just met in my industry were telling me, some people are doing this on like 100x scale of what I do. They use Ring Central and they say they love it. Okay. They say it's an app. You can have calls forwarded at any time to different numbers. And then there's a million different options. You can, an answering service would answer your voicemail. Okay. Say, press 1, press 2.
Oh, yeah.
And you can do the prompt. Like you can read it.
You know what? It's funny too. Like, I don't get a lot of client phone calls either. They don't call. They are really? Texters also.
I think it'll do the same thing for texting though. Oh. It'll forward those texts to whoever you have.
Got it.
I haven't implemented it yet, but it's from what everyone said. They say they love it and it's changed their life. So
look at that. Ring Central.
Ring Central. Yeah.
Is it like Ring camera?
I have no idea.
Like, is that the Ring?
I don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
The woman that said she uses it, there's a really nice dashboard that you can go on your desktop and you can just see where everything's going. You can set times.
Cool.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to look at that.
And Colter, when is he just on and off for work, or does he always need to be available too?
Colter is really special. So he has become, he's a really good sergeant, really good leader. And he has previous teams that he's been the sergeant for, and they still call him. Right? Okay. So like, I would like to see him set a bigger work boundary, but it's just who he is, and he loves to help them and be available and mentor. So yeah, he's off by, at 5, but he'll still answer his phone if it rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he do overnight shifts a lot, or just?
He used to work nights. Yeah. He might do it again for his last hurrah. He graduates. He retires in March next year. Yeah. So he thinks he wants to do like one last hurrah in that. His night shift and mid shift is way more fun. There's just more action and more stuff going on. But
is it a hierarchy thing of when you can get off night shift?
Yes,
on
it is. So he can pretty much get any shift he wants at this point. But the guys bid around. So like the deputies bid around sergeants. So they'll like bid all together, they get their little bro groups and they all bid like Colter's shift. So I think maybe this shift bid, they're doing it different so that the sergeants are bidding last basically so that they can pick their teams kind of. But I don't know. It's funny. Everybody wants to be on Colter's shift. He does a lot of fun stuff. Like we have him over for barbecues and he does like little competitions that are fun when he goes out of town. Yeah, he'd be fun to work for.
When you say bid, like, what do you mean by bidding?
Like shift bid. It's shift work. So they bid.
What are you bidding?
You're bidding your shift.
Okay.
So like Monday through Friday, or no one's Monday through Friday, but it's all 410s. But do you want mid shift with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, or what 3 days off, that sort of thing? And everybody wants like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. And so your seniority just determines the goods.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's how you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you've heard, maybe he has too, like all the health consequences on graveyard shifts for everything.
All the what consequences?
The health consequences just so kind of wrecks you.
It is. And also in that line of work, I mean, that's not that line of work in the daytime is really shitty. I mean, people that are cops are very critical and very special people because it is a gruesome job. And then to also be asleep in the day and awake at night, you're always in the dark.
Yeah. Always.
When you're sleeping in the day, you've got blackout everything. And in the winter, that is really tough, mentally difficult for sure. And our brains aren't designed for that. You know, everybody's like, oh, I'm a night owl. Well, you are to an extent, but it doesn't matter how long you do graveyard. Your brain still wants to be awake in the day and you miss out. You miss out on a lot. And when you do force yourself to wake up for a daytime activity with your family or something, you're a zombie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough.
I was glad he did the podcast because I hope people hear it and just have a better understanding of what it's like to be a cop.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about, well, we did talk about it quite a bit, but it's just the PTSD from the job itself.
Totally.
And then everything that goes along with that.
Yep. Yeah. It's very real. It's very real. I mean, it like a lot of people equate it maybe like to the military or something like that. There's just, to me, the fundamental difference there meant for mental health wise is the traumatic things that happen to our local law enforcement, whether it's, they had to shoot somebody or just tase somebody, or maybe they just had like, a really bad call where a kid's involved or something like that. They have to drive by that spot probably every day, maybe, and you're constantly like, oh yeah, I went to that house for this thing. And you're just always remembering that. Colter I don't know if he shared his incident that happened to him on shift where someone tried to kill him on the interstate.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, it's right there at Logan. And the guy knew what he was doing. I mean, shot at him, and Colter luckily was down like in a ditch, crouched down. But he drives by there every day to come home, so you think about it every single day. Whereas like someone coming back from deployment, they leave the shit there and then they're coming back to their safe space. So, to go to work every day in that is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I think one thing he was saying is he's a huge proponent for the ride-alongs.
Oh, yeah.
Just so people can, it's got to be a little nerve-wracking.
Totally. Well, and it is. I've been on ride-alongs where I've been dumped out on the side of the road, like get an Uber because I got to go to this call and you're not coming with me. And ride-alongs are fun. But I think that we always have a perception of what something's going to be, especially a profession. Like and everyone thinks, oh, this is how it is. And then they get themselves in it, going on a ride along or something like, wow, this is nothing like I thought it was going to be. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that's a really cool program that they offer.
Yeah. So he's a cop. How did you get into what you do?
Oh God. I am a really big believer in that everyone should be working all the time, especially when you're young. And so when I decided to not continue in veterinary tech, being a vet tech, when the veterinarian I worked for moved to Red Lodge for the summer, I just went and got a random job at a bank. And moved up the ladder quickly there. And I was working in the lending department, and one of my clients that I was managing construction budgets for and stuff invented Home Connect. And then she recruited me out of the bank to run Home Connect for her. And then I bought it from her eventually. But that's it. I was a vet tech my whole life. And then I worked at a bank for First Security Bank downtown, which was great. I mean, I owe being involved in this company now to that, but I was there for like 5 years. I worked there for like 5 years, and let me tell you about a soul-sucking job. It sucked so bad. It was the worst place. I can never work somewhere with an HR department. It is not for me.
That's so funny.
But it was a good job. Like I got great benefits. I really did enjoy the people I worked with. But that 8 to 5 corporate structure is just not for me. I can't do it. And a lot of people need that. They love it.
It's funny you say that, because I worked for a construction company in Washington for a year and a half. And that's the only time I've in my life worked for a company that has an HR department. And I cringe when I think about it. And it's same thing. It was it was like, I guess it was 7 to 4.
Oh, it was awful.
And the safety meetings every morning and all this stuff. And I'm like, and then just all the PPE and everything. I was like, and growing up on a farm, there's
it's safety third out there. Yeah, you're just like, get shit done, tie this way, whatever you got to do. Yeah.
And the sense of freedom.
Oh yeah. I mean, gosh, I could tell you just I was fired several times and refused to be fired. I was like, no, you can't fire me for that. And I just came to work again. No, you don't fire. No. Every time. I mean, yeah, it was a whole thing. It was HR has a special place in my heart.
That's funny, because I actually, the guy, he did the podcast not long ago, and he's at First Security.
Oh, really? Who is it?
Bob's his name, Bob Lowry. He's some sort of, he does management. I'm blanking on the term.
I wonder if he came from Big Sky Western or something. Everyone's changed since I've been there. I don't know. I used to be able to walk in and like, I forgot my ID. Can I get cash out? And nobody knows me now. So
yeah, he's been there like 6 years. He came from the East Coast.
Okay.
Really, I think he's awesome. He's a great guy.
Okay.
And, I even started banking with them because of it, just because of.
Yeah. Oh, I bank there still. Yeah. And there's still some really great people there. I just think that at the time of my employment, their HR department was total garbage and it was terrible.
That's so funny.
I know.
So then you ultimately bought this. You were just working under the woman and then bought it from her?
Yeah.
When did you buy that?
Gosh, I think it was 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. It was
like
COVID.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
It was like right before COVID got really COVID-y. Like we were still like, what is this? What are we doing? And then a couple months after I bought it, it was like shelter in place, lockdown. This is a big deal. So yeah.
Was it still busy then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't affect the demographic that I work for. It didn't affect them at all. And it didn't affect my employment because I'm by myself going in houses that no one's in. So there was no like contact and that sort of thing.
There's probably a lot of people coming out here, I'd imagine, during it.
Tons.
Yeah. Like, I want to come here. I want to.
Everybody
isolated.
wanted to. Yeah. And everybody that had houses here, they were like, we're coming there. You guys have toilet paper. Like we're coming to you. And it was actually really interesting. I had one client sort of keep me updated on his city, because whatever happened in that city was like starting to come our way. So he's in St. Paul, Minnesota, and he'd be like, all right, here's what we're out of. You're probably going to see this in the next couple of weeks. And sure enough, we'd be out of like the most random things as people came through. But yeah, a lot of my clients that are not normally here in the winter or at that time of year came just to. Yeah. And on the flip side, I had clients come from LA and they were terrified. They were like, there's no rules. You guys can just drive around. I'm like, yeah, or you don't have to wear masks or, stay home or you're allowed out any time of the day. And I'm like, yeah, it was just wild times.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. And they were terrified. They called me like mad at me for that. I'm like, I didn't make the rules. Like this is what it is. You can do whatever you want. If you don't want to go out, don't go out, but here's the rules. So yeah, it's just really crazy time.
That was funny. I felt better because that was the year I started my company as well. It was 2020.
Okay.
And it was busy. Everyone was coming here, and it was. I have a client that she's been a client since then. She's in the Yellowstone Club, and she's from New Zealand.
Okay.
So she was stuck here. She couldn't leave the country.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
she's just finding stuff to do. We're driving her all over Big Sky.
I can think of worse places to get
yeah,
stuck.
she wasn't mad about being stuck here, but she ended up not seeing her kids for like 18 months.
Yeah.
So she was bummed about that.
Yeah, I know, like New Zealand and Australia, those places got hit in a way that we felt like was happening to us, but it didn't. Like they were truly, I mean, they weren't even allowed to be in their backyards after certain hours and things like that. There was a lot there. Yeah, we were in Mexico when it first started kind of getting wild. And I remember like there was all these like talks of it, but third world country, I mean, they just don't have the means to really do it like we did. But it was kind of like, well, yeah, just make sure you wash your hands. I was kind of like and then we came back home and I was like, wow, this is like a way different vibe on the whole thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I was working at a dairy farm part-time. That was during COVID.
Were you on the East Coast when this all happened?
No, that was here.
Here. Oh, yeah. Where? Churchill, Manhattan or something?
No, it's actually, I don't know if they're still in business, but it's in Bozeman. Do you know where 19th hits Cottonwood?
Uh-huh.
And then you like look across and you see those 3 big silos.
Oh,
right there.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. They said that they only had a plan to milk for like 4 more years, and that was COVID. Okay. So that was roughly 6 years ago.
Done. Yeah.
But I got COVID and I called them and I'm like, hey, I got COVID. Just so you know, I tested positive, and it was pretty early. Like we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And the daughter, she was mostly my point of contact. She's like, oh, well, how do you feel? I was like, I feel right. She's like, can you still come to work? I was like, yeah. And I did. By
the end of the summer, that first year where things were real, like the vaccine stuff and all the things, I had clients that had come here, you know, very serious about it. And then eventually like, we are so fucking over COVID. Just send the electrician. It's fine. If he tested positive, whatever, just, we need him. Like we need to move on with our lives. And that's kind of, my clients were at that point too. It was a whole thing. And yeah, I mean, I just respected what people wanted in their home. You know, if they wanted a mask worn, then we wore a mask. If they didn't care, we didn't, or whatever, you know, it's people's houses. You got to just roll with whatever
She was funny. She's like, I just want to get it and get this over with. I'm so sick of this.
I know. That's how I was too. I was like, I just want to get it. And then I'm sure I've had it a bunch of times. And people are still getting it. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt too.
Yeah. Once I got it, I was cool. Now I've got some immunity.
Yeah,
to it.
Totally. Yeah. Like, but you can get it again. I mean, it's a virus. So that's what it's just like getting the flu more than once. But I get, you know, I mean, I got really sick. So if you're immunocompromised already, or, you know, that's not good. But
that was my main concern. I was like, if I get somebody's grandparents sick or something, that's when I was trying to be aware of who I'm going around.
Totally. The elderly, like all of that. Yeah, for sure. Babies, things like that. Yeah. That was where I was at. The average person, they're going to get it from something else, or, you know, whatever. But yeah, COVID was crazy. I actually had a client that made a book about COVID and like put all these photos and took pictures of like their city at that time and like little like news articles about what was happening. And that's really a good idea. Cause like, I mean, that's a big deal.
And you forget fast.
You do. And that was like hopefully the only pandemic that we'll ever have to live through. I mean, but
yeah, it was stressful, like the masks and everything.
And then like gauging how people felt about it. Cause you had people that were like diehard serious about it. And then you had people that thought it was like a total conspiracy hoax ploy. And like
the politics of
politics. I mean, there was like people equating it to the Holocaust. And then you had people that were like, you know, this is really serious. It's so funny. It was all over the board.
Yeah. There was a few months there and I was really kind of getting deep with, do I take this vaccine? Do I not? And I'm listening to different podcasts, taking in information. I'm like, I honestly don't know what the hell to do at this point.
No. And then it eventually got to where like you felt forced, or, you know, and like.
Was that a shame?
Yeah. Or, you know, you either feel forced, or you feel like shunned, or you feel like you have to lie about it. But then all of a sudden, that to me, that whole thing, like, we opened up, everyone is now privy to everyone's health care choices, right? Like, I mean, it's not, you don't ask people their medical history when you meet them. And then all of a sudden that was socially acceptable to be like, are you vaccinated? Well, nobody's ever asked that. No one's ever cared about like who's vaccinated for what up and anyway. That was a whole thing, like just invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
And why, I mean, I could go into a whole thing about healthcare and politics and why that's just like bizarre to me that they're related, but it was all ends. And I had best friends, really close friends that were major vaxxers. And then I've got the whole super anti-vaxxer. And it was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what
that
to
sounds
do.
exactly like my friend,
You just
my friend and family choice. Demographic of like both sides of it.
Yeah. And then family too. Like, I had friends, families that we would like be around that were like, you are not coming to this event. Or we went to the Bahamas, and one of the, the captain of that boat was like, you have to be vaccinated if you're getting on my boat. Right. And so then you're like, well, this could go on forever. Do we just bite the bullet and see what happens so that we can get on, like, enjoy our lives and not miss out on a once in a lifetime thing to get through that? But that's one of my biggest regrets in life, was getting that vaccine, I must say.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. And it's so weird. It's like it's just so political, really. Like the whole thing was.
Yeah. And like, I really tried to separate that, just because that can just be so dominating in decision making if you're trying to factor the politics of it in, or, whatever theories there are on all of it. And really what it came down to was, if this is my golden ticket to take the trip that I have planned, go to Italy, go wherever I want to go, I'll take my chances, because I don't want to be tied down like that. But truthfully, in hindsight, I mean, it's so, like, when we went to Italy, you get your little vaccine card. I actually went to Anaconda, Montana to get my vaccine, because I couldn't get it here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nowhere had it. No one. And I was like, well, I'm going to Italy and I need to have this. And so I go, they like handwrite on it. Like, Colter's was like really official, and they were really pushing for it at his job. But he's like exposed to the nastiest of nasty. I mean, Colter, any vaccine out there, Colter should probably get it. But like all of us are not exposed to what he's exposed to. Anyway, they just hand wrote on the vaccine card, and like, to get into the Vatican, they wanted to read it. And he just looked, and that was it. I mean, what are they going to do? Call the health department in Butte, in whatever, Silver Bow County, and confirm? And are they going to get a hold of somebody at the CVS? I mean, it's so stupid. It's the dumbest shit. I just like, if I could do it over, I would have forged that vaccine card. That's what I would have done.
It was funny you say that, because I was debating, do I mention this? It's on a podcast, but I never got vaccinated.
Yeah.
And that's
good for you. Like, I'm jealous of people that just stood their ground and like.
I feel bad for people that did and then like felt so forced into it, because I was right there on the edge.
Yeah.
And then with time, I felt much better about it. And I already gotten it a couple times. So I obviously have every immunity that I'm going to. Mm-hmm. But it was very like, it was I'm not going to say who it was, because I was on the East Coast in New York City traveling. Okay. And we wanted to go to dinner. And I really just wanted to go to Brazilian steakhouse. I don't know if you've ever been to one.
Oh, yeah. We call that the meat tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to have a vax card. So this individual made one for me.
Perfect.
And they literally look at it, put it down. I'm like, really? That was the whole thing?
No, that's exactly hindsight. That's what I would have done. But I was like afraid it would get official, and then I'd be in like Italian jail if they found.
No, if you're leaving the country, I could see.
Well, and the fear monger, like the fear that they instilled in us of like really bad things are going to happen, and I could have maybe censored myself a little from that stuff, but by the time we left Italy, and of course we were in Rome, we were like one of 4 people in the Sistine Chapel when we were there. Like, I am so glad I did it, because now it's shoulder to shoulder. Like, Rome's insane. But when we were leaving, you had to take a COVID test again, the swab deal. And they were like, did you take a COVID test? I'm like, yeah. They're like, was it positive? I was like, no. They're like, okay, we're over it. Go. Like, they didn't look at my test results. They didn't, the whole thing. I was like, yeah, you guys are over it too. And Italy really got hammered. I mean, they shut the country borders down at one point. I mean, they really went for it, but yeah, good times.
Yeah, I was happy to be here.
I did not do any of the boosters or anything. I just did those first 2 to get me like my golden ticket signed. And yeah, totally in hindsight, it was a handwritten dumb thing. I mean,
yeah, I mean, just me not getting it, I was taking as much of a guess as anyone took that was getting it.
Yeah.
We just didn't know.
Totally.
I gotten shamed by so many people about it.
Oh yeah, you will. And people just like asking, like, are you vaccinated? I just think that's so, I don't know, it just drove me crazy.
I was having moral debates in my head. I'm like, should I feel worse about lying or not getting it? So I like, because
it's your healthcare.
So I'm just like, you know what?
You can disclose or not, whatever you want.
And then you get into like weird situations with clients.
Yeah. Well, they don't have to get, I mean, that was my big thing too with Home Connect. I was like, I'm not going to require this. It's none of my business if you get it or don't get it or why you get it. I don't care. I don't ask you for, I don't mandate that you get other vaccines or do other things with your body that I think you should do. So it was, we had a few uncomfortable moments with clients and vendors. But
there's a guy in my industry here locally, and he's got these very particular clients that I believe they're members up in the Yellowstone Club.
Okay.
And the drivers have to get COVID tested every time before they pick them up. Like to this day, this year.
The definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Like you are testing for a disease or a virus or a pandemic, whatever you want to call it, every time you get a cold, like that you don't have. So like we're creating like this hypochondriac situation in people where like they're testing for COVID when they're not even sick. They don't even have symptoms. That's insane. That is literally insanity.
The funny thing is these people, I don't know much about them. We haven't done any work for them.
Yeah.
There's another guy that he's just an owner operator. He just drives his own vehicle.
Yeah.
He used to drive them around, and as he says it, he's like, I fired them as clients.
Yeah. I mean, we all have that. That's the beauty of it too, is we all have that freedom hack, right? Where we can just say no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work for you. If that's what you want, that's fine. Do your thing, but it won't be with me.
Yeah. And it's a big account. It's a lot of money. So you have to make that choice.
Yeah. And I get it. There's people that, to me, no amount of money is ever worth straying morally. Now travel, I'm probably going to, I went and got my vaccine just so I could go to Italy. But yeah, I'm not going to work for someone that requires something that I have to do with or to my body just to work for them. That's why I can't do that. However, not everybody wants to make that decision.
Yeah. Good for you though.
And money, it's hard. That's hard. And I've been faced with it. I mean, I've had the hard conversations with clients like, hey, if this is what's going to happen and this is how you want people to be in your home, then we need to find you different vendors, or you just aren't going to have housekeeping through this time because I'm not going to require that of them. And I get where you're coming from and this is your home, but you're going to have to find somebody else because we can't operate like that.
Yeah. Good for you. I think that's refreshing for a lot of business owners in Montana anyway, that feel like they're in the, as they call it, the last best place where you have some freedom.
Yeah, I think we do. I mean, I do think too, like, I've never lived in New York City or LA or any of those places, but I do think our country as a whole still has so much freedom to do it and whatever we want. And nobody did. No, there wasn't a law or like you didn't get in any real trouble for not getting the COVID vaccine, but you missed out, people. And even in Italy, they were like, if you aren't vaccinated, you have to eat outside, which fine. Everybody's sitting out on the streets eating anyway. But nobody was checking that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And you could still go to Italy if you weren't vaccinated. You just had to quarantine for 2 weeks. And no one did that either. I mean, there was no like follow through. So all of it was just like a scare tactic. And who knows, maybe if they didn't do it that way, or the fear and like the politics of it didn't come into play, maybe it would have been a really bad thing. I don't know. Maybe it could have been like
if it
really
went
bad.
off the rails.
Yeah, it could have really gone off the rails if there wasn't some level of like, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, when I tested positive, I remember the phone call because I was driving home from somewhere. I'm like, fuck. Well, I'm just going to stop at the grocery store, get whatever I need, and I guess I'll just hunker down for whatever they say the period is.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this? There's like footage of me in the grocery stores. I was kind of freaked out. Am I a piece of shit because I have COVID right now?
That is the media.
Yeah, I was like, and then it's in hindsight, and then they call at the farm, hey, can you still come to work?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll come to work.
Yeah, I know. And I was having to tell clients like, hey, I know we've got this schedule today, but they tested positive for COVID or they had an exposure. And most of my clients were like, we don't give a fuck. We need to get like, just send them. It's fine. We won't like kiss them on the mouth. It's okay. And I'm like, all right, I just left it up to people to do what they wanted.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy. It was really weird. And like, then there's the lasting effects of all of that. I mean, you've got kids that, grew up in that, toddlers and like they have lasting effects of not like reading people's faces, right? Like they grew up in this maskless or masked world and there's like a lot of just lasting mental effects from all of that too, that I don't think anybody considered, which is interesting.
I know you're reminding me because there's a mentoring program here in town.
Okay.
It's called the CAP program.
Yeah. I've been a CAP mentor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I did it for 5 years.
Yeah.
They're trying to find me a new mentee now.
Oh yeah. It's fun. It's really cool.
Yeah. And I did it with the same kid for 5 years, which is awesome because we were literally best friends he actually moved this past summer.
Okay.
But I remember those years when I was going there, it was middle school and like we're wearing masks. I'm like, this is so weird because we take the pictures every year.
Yeah.
And I have them all for every year. And there's the 1 year of us wearing the mask. I'm like, that was such a
weird time.
Disaster.
Yeah. It was a disaster. It really was. And we're still in it. It's still here. We still got it. I mean, it's still a virus. It's still a thing. And now we're dealing with measles. Is that right? Is there measles in the US now?
Maybe.
Is it measles or mumps? What is it? Is it one?
I don't know.
It's one of those. No, wait. It's one of those. Don't quote me, but it's one of those that we have now. I mean, it's just the world's growing. We're getting more people, and there's all the things are changing, and yeah.
Yeah, I know we were talking about screen time and phones, but I'm like pretty disconnected from most of the world of what's going on.
I don't think that's bad.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I have no idea about the measles or anything. I haven't heard anything about it.
I heard it off of a podcast.
That's where I'd hear it. I get like my information from podcasts.
Yeah, most of my social media is truly just like pop culture or like friends posting whatever they're posting. I mean, I've really done a really good job. Like if you were to like open my Instagram and go down, it's really not political. There's really not. I try to not one way or the other like or engage so that is still an escape and it's not really like my news source because that's terrible. But yeah.
It's weird. It gets very curated to your biases if you
does.
Very careful about it.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, then it's hard. Like, it's easy to fall into the rabbit holes of things that may or may not be accurate or healthy. And, but yeah, I mean, I've got friends that post political things, so I suppose I see those, but yeah.
Yeah. Like I told you, I don't even have social media on my phone because I feel like it's a rabbit hole I'll get stuck in.
Yeah, that's good. You know that about yourself and you don't do it, but.
So how much is this Home Connect? You've scaled Home Connect quite a bit since you bought it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's grown. Definitely. I want to continue to grow, but at a reasonable rate.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want my employees to either. Both of them are moms to young kids. And it's important to me that they still, are able to go do the fun run at school or, whatever they're going to do and not miss out that way. I don't want them to become married to this either. So.
I was going to ask you that kids, do you and Colter have kids or want to have kids?
No, God, no. Colter had a vasectomy.
Okay. And you guys don't want kids?
No, not at all. I love kids and I have nieces and
nephews.
Yeah,
you said you were a CAP mentor.
Yeah, I loved it. I was a big brother, big sister. We had a foster kid actually for a little
Okay.
while. No,
That's so funny. Why do you think you want nothing to do with having your own
because
kids?
I am way too selfish. I love my freedom. I love to spend my money how I want to spend my money, and I want to travel and not have to rely on providing for some, like, you know, Colter at the end of the day, if I don't make dinner, he'll find food. He's not going to starve to death, right? But like a little kid, you just got to be on, and you got to make sure that that foster care situation was very solidifying. Granted, the kid came with some things, but in general, the concept's the same. You know, you're caring for a little life, and they're your responsibility, and you want the best for them. And you know, those instincts kick in. Like I was fully invested in it. But yeah, I mean, I love being the cool aunt and uncle where, you know, where we can take them to do fun stuff and then give them back.
Yeah, good for you if you know what you want. Not.
Yeah, there was a brief moment where we were like, let's have kids. And God, I'm just so glad that did not come to fruition.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. All the time. I just think Colter and I get in bed, no shit, like probably 4 nights a week. And we'd lay there like, thank God we don't have kids.
That's so
funny. Or we get up at 9 a.m. on a Saturday and we're like, no kids. Or you get up with a hangover and you're like, oh, no kids. Thank God. We just have 2 corgis that are total terrors, but they can also be locked outside, you know? So yeah, no kids. Do you want kids?
I don't have kids. I want kids.
Yeah.
And now you're like making me second guess it.
No, stop. Don't. I think it's so cool. I have a lot of respect and admiration for moms, especially, no offense to the dads, but the moms are freaking rock stars. I mean, carrying a kid, carrying a baby, growing a human, and dedicating at minimum 18 years of your life to that. That is not something I could ever do. And so hats off to those people, because I think that's pretty cool. But
did you say does your brother have any kids or no?
No, he won't either. He's also had the procedure performed.
Well, I'd say, like, I've said this forever, if you don't want to have kids and you know it, like, good, thank God for you, because there's so many people that I've come across
who accidentally have a kid
or just shouldn't have kids.
Totally.
Like, they haven't grown up themselves.
Totally.
There's because I've heard this debated that there should be, like, should there be a license if you have to be a parent? Or
yes, there should.
you know Brian Dietz.
Oh yeah.
So because I'll one day a week when I have time, which hasn't been in a while, I'll go coach kids classes with him.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's murmured things like that. I don't want to misquote him because he's honestly awesome with kids.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have any.
Yeah. No, I'm really good with them. Kids love me. I just don't want them.
And I think he's said things to that extent.
Yeah.
Like I said, I won't speak for him, but there should almost be a license or something because some of the kids will get, dumped, unloaded there.
Yeah. The vetting process to adopt a dog at the shelter is more rigorous than, having babies.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. We could go down the whole rabbit hole about it.
Totally. But then I'm back into this healthcare thing where it's like, then you're telling people what they can and can't do with their bodies. And that just bugs me too.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, do what you want, have the kids if you want to have the kids, but it sucks. I think
it can really suck for the kids if you are not at least like a little bit intentional with the thought of having kids and what their life is going to be.
Some of these kids come out and they don't have a fighting chance in hell to make it in the world. They're just not going to. They're just going to be another like lost piece of youth. Yeah.
Well, that's what I think when I do the mentoring or stuff. Like, man, this kid needs this because he's in a terrible situation already.
Yeah. And you have the opportunity to make a difference for sure. And that's kind of all we can do. I did cat mentoring for a while. My best friend did it like you for a long time. The kid I had moved away and I was so like emotionally invested. Like I was so attached and I was like, I'm not doing that again. So then I did Big Brothers, Big Sisters and I got a little. And our first little date we went on was to the fair. He was 6. And then I couldn't get a hold of his mom ever again. And then years went by and that kid was the kid that became our foster kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So bad situation at Colter's work and no next of kin, nowhere to send the kid. And they were like, well, you take him. And his mom was like, call Lindsay and Colter. They'll take him. Don't put him in like a foster system. And we're not foster parents. We didn't go through any of that. So they just kind of gave us emergency custody. And that was a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I would take him to school. We got him in football and all the things and homework and just everything that came with that kid. And just your heart broke for him. It's not his fault. But again, it was just very solidifying for me. Like every single day I woke up, I had to like get a kid dressed for school, right? I just don't know.
How old was he then?
I think he was 8 or 9 when we got him as a foster kid, but we'd been with him since. And then we kind of stepped in further too in that time. Just his mom wasn't in a position to care for him. And so, he'd come stay with us a lot outside of that, or, we'd help get him school clothes or whatever, get him into football, try to get him into sports or some sort of outlet, because he didn't have one. He was left home a lot by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was, I don't know anything about him now. He went back. She went to court and got custody of him. And so, yeah, I don't know now. We got kind of cut off from him. She didn't like us there at the end. But
yeah, the kid that I did the mentee for Cap, I think I started with him when he was 8 and he was 12, and he just moved somewhere to the Midwest.
Okay.
But it does suck because
it does. You're attached. Yeah, it's your little buddy.
Yeah.
Yep, totally.
It was funny too because he's also getting to the age of 12, so he's like starting to get pretty good humor and like probably like slightly starting to go through puberty and just
totally.
getting,
and
like,
you start to like learn their little personalities.
Yeah,
and who
he's
they're
like
going to be.
Watching him grow up is like he'll still like. I think you weren't even supposed to do this with Cap, but he'll text me sometimes now.
Yeah,
and we'll
I
just
know.
like keep in touch with each other.
Yep. No, I feel like no, you're not supposed to, but he's not. Neither of you are part of that program now, so
yeah,
whatever.
It's funny. We didn't do it for various reasons, but I was toying with the idea and had mentioned it to him about having him do the podcast just before he moved. I'm like, this would be a cool thing.
Yeah.
I was like, we don't have to ever release it.
Yeah.
But I can like send it to you when you're 18 if you want it.
Totally.
But like we didn't do it because there was, it's just kind of a weird at home situation, and like parents aren't together, and it's I'd essentially have to get everyone's consent that he could do it, and I'm like, this sounds like it would have been fun if it was just for fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I get what you're saying about like the rules of Cap, because like you weren't allowed to bring them things either, like, and at Christmas time, like you could bring, I think we could bring like food maybe or something, but I was like, I just knew that this girl that I had needed things, like she had 8 sisters or something, and you're like, oh, you just need your own stuff.
Yeah,
but you couldn't. Yeah. Yep. How long have you and your girlfriend been dating?
Less than a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So why?
Well, I'm just thinking like, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, so you have time. Guys
she's
have time.
She's a couple of years younger than me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking like, are you like, is that where you're going? Like,
it's a big thing though when you're in your 30s.
Does she want kids?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I know. And there's also like all the society pressures on what people think their timeline is for you. But there's people having kids and they're like 38, 39, 40 years old.
Yeah, and there's just the societal pressure of you're supposed to grow up and get married and have kids, and if you don't, what the hell's wrong with you?
And go to college, and you work, wife stays home with kid. Like it's so funny how that is. It's still very much a thing, and my little cousin's going through that right now, kind of. He's 20. But, he still lives at home. He works. He's going back to school he's going to college in the fall. And he's like, I just want to move out. And I'm like, no, you need to, like, it's okay to live at home right now, especially in Bozeman. Like, no 20-year-old can just afford to go out on their own, and work and go to school and still afford rent. Like, I don't know where you would live.
Yeah.
Just stay at home. Your parents are like, they leave you alone. They buy all your food. Like, if I could go back to that time, sign me up.
Unless you want 10 roommates, then you might be able to figure it out.
Yeah. But that's hard. Cause like when I was his age, I had a college degree and I was dating Colter and about to get, like that was a serious, like I was so far ahead of him at 20 and he's 20 also. And I just think girls are a little more advanced anyway in that regard. Like we're a little bit more, boys just take a little longer sometimes, but
I definitely think.
That's why I did. That's why Colter's 5 years older than me. Like everyone my age was like, no.
Yeah. I think that's, one of many reasons why women generally like men that are older, because they're just
totally,
because there's I think it's
they have their shit figured out kind of.
Yeah. Like generally very generally speaking. Girls will get it figured out in their early to mid 20s, and guys like maybe their late 30s at best, or like mid to late, maybe.
If ever.
Yeah, if ever, sure.
I'm just kidding.
And same's true for some girls.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, totally true. I have one of my good friends. She's older than me, and her husband is literally my future. Like, I look at him and I'm like, okay, this is how Colter's going to be. It's like all the things I think Colter will grow out of. He's not gonna. He's not gonna. It's just gonna get worse, and he's just gonna get older, and that's how it's gonna be. Yeah. Yep. That's all right. It's all good. We all gotta have our things. I'm sure there's things about me that Colter's like, are you ever gonna grow out of that? No, probably not.
It's a good spot to wrap up.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time.